Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to try and do this video. We'll see what happens. This is about a helicopter ride I once took. It was a Lifeflight flight. It was quite the thing. So, you want to hear about it? Here it goes. Uh, November 11th, 3 years ago, I got up, walked my dogs for an hour, packed my lunch, headed off to work. It was a Thursday morning. So I'm on my way to work. I get about maybe about a mile and a half from where I need to be, and my truck breaks down just out of nowhere. Boom! Oh, okay. So I pull her off to the side of the road, and I'm like, I lift the hood and I look underneath there. I've blown a fan belt. Well, son of a gun, I've blown a fan belt. Okay, well, it's still pretty early in the road I'm on. There's a good chance one of the people that I know is going to pass by headed to the same place I'm headed, because a lot of us go down this road. It was quite early. So I sat there for about 10 minutes, and sure enough, somebody stopped and said, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" I was like, "I'm broke down, give me a ride." He's like, "Yeah, hop in." So off I go to work. Get to work, clock in on time. Uh, we have the morning meeting. We get our job assignments. So I get assigned to this kid. We go into our bay, and it's time to get to work. Well, I welded, I think, about two frames, scaffolding frames. I was welding scaffolding at the time, so I welded two frames, and then all of a sudden I got like really hot. I mean, like hot. I mean, like hot. And it's November. It's cold outside. It's cold in the factory. There is no reason for me to be sweating after two frames. I mean, no reason whatsoever. So I'm like, something's wrong. I need to go sit down. Well, you know where I'm at. If you sit down, somebody gonna be along directly going, "Hey, what are you doing sitting down?" So I go off behind the robot over here, which isn't functioning, and I go sit down. And I just keep getting hotter and hotter. And I'm like, man, I need to get outside, get some cool air on me, and I should be all right. I don't know what's going on. So I head on outside, and I can see the door over there. And I get about halfway, and I start, thinking to myself, damn, I sure am making a hell of an effort to get outside, and I can see the door, and I'm finally getting there, and but at the same time, I'm running out of gas. I got no gas. I'm running out of energy, but I open the door, and it's November in Ohio. It's cold. I open the door, and all I'm wearing is my welding shirt, which is just a long sleeve, blue shirt. So I feel that cold breath, and oh, that felt so good. So I'm like, all right, cool. And in my head, I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm just gonna go to my car, and I'm gonna go sit down for a minute. I'm gonna go sit down and get my stuff together. Figure out what's going on. So I always park in the same place. Most of us, we all park in the same part, same area. So I'm headed that way, and I get about 20 feet from the door, and I realize, I was like, well, sucker, your truck broke down. You don't have a truck to get into. I was like, oh man. And it was right about then I really ran out of gas, and I was like, man, I need to sit down. So I sat down. I sat down right there on the concrete. Outside this big bay door, there's a man door right there, and I'm sitting down. It's November, the wind's howling, but I don't care. It feels good, and so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I'm sitting, I'm sitting on the ground, and I got my hands in front of me, and I'm holding in front of my knees, sort of like holding myself together, basically holding myself together. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, what in the hell is the matter with me? What is wrong? What is going on? I'm a healthy dude. I had quit smoking cigarettes 18 months prior to that. I was walking 4 miles a day with my dogs. I quit eating BS. I'd lost 30 pounds. I was like, there's no reason any of this should be happening to me. I'm healthy. I've been doing push-ups and stuff. Just in my head, I'm going, there should be nothing wrong with me. But something is wrong with me. And I don't know what it is. So I'm like, I'm sitting there, and I'm sort of wobbling a little bit. And I'm like, I can't seem to keep myself straight. And I'm like, something's wrong. I need some help. I got to get some help. I can't sit out here. Somebody got to help me. So this is where it's probably going to get hard, but you know, I try to get up and I have my hands in front of me like this, or hold my knees, and I went to go put my hand down, and when I put my hand down, there was when I there was I couldn't put any resistance to it to keep me from falling. So I immediately grabbed my hand back up here, and I'm like, oh man, you know, something's wrong. I don't got no powers, and you know, I'm starting to get concerned at this point. I'm concerned, and you know, I go to put my other hand down. I figure, well, I'll maybe, you know, this is my welding hand, so maybe my welding hand is carpal tunnel or some shit. I'm not thinking clearly now, so I put my other hand down, and it's got a little more gas to it, but it ain't got much, you know. And I'm like, well, man. So I put my hands back like this, and I'm sitting there, and I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with me, and you know, I'm feeling really tired, you know, and weak. I want to lay down. I just want to lay down. I just want, you know, lay down for a minute, you know, and breathe and just get my stuff together. Well, like I said, I realized something was wrong. You know, all this stuff's going through my head, and I was like, something's wrong with you, man. You need some help. You got to get up. You got to get up. You know, and I got no powers, man. I don't think I can get up. Now, we all hear voices in our head, and it's normally just our own voice. You know, it really is, you know, and you know, it might be it's your voice, but you might hear it accented, or you know, you know the voices in your head, you know, and it's usually a variation of your own voice. But at this moment, uh you know, I start hearing in in Spanish, and I know it's going to make no sense to y'all at all, but in Spanish I start hearing them like, donde tu corazón, donde tu corazón. And I'm like, you know, I'm kind of freaking out, you know, because it basically, where's your heart? Where's your heart? I gotta get up. I gotta get up. Nobody's coming to my fucking rescue at this moment. I have to save myself. Whatever's wrong with me at this moment, I have to figure out how to save my fucking self. So there I am, and donde tu corazón? Donde? Arriba, arriba, arriba. Get up, get up. You know, and I don't understand when I'm hearing fucking Spanish in my head. You know, I'm a white guy, and I mean, I do speak a lot of Spanish, a lot, way more than most white people that you know. But you know, it's not my voice. It ain't my voice. Somebody in Spanish speaking to me. Get up, get up. Where's your heart? Where's your heart? And I take everything I got, everything. And this thing is yelling at me. Get up. I get up. And I mean, I got hardly no gas, man. But something in me won't let me quit. You know, won't let me stop. And I keep hearing the donde tu corazón? Donde? And I'm making it to the door step by step. I'm trying to get over there, and it's getting closer, man. But I'm running on fumes, bro. I'm running on fucking fumes. And you know, this thing is happening to me, and I don't know what is happening to me, but I know I have to get to the store, and I gotta get some fucking help, man. Somebody gotta help me, because I can't help myself. Something's wrong. And I'm like 10 feet from the door, and I was like, I don't know if I can fucking make. I don't know if I can make it at this moment. You know, like 10 feet, and I keep hearing this voice, donde? And anyway, I also took French in high school, so I'm all, and I know how to speak some French, and I keep hearing à pied, which means on foot, you know. I mean, it's may sound ridiculous to you, but I don't care. I'm not functioning. I'm sort of almost, I'm guessing on a spiritual plane, because I'm fixing to check out, and I don't know it, you know. I do not know that I'm dying. But some part of me ain't willing to give it up, you know. It ain't. It's not today. So I'm hearing these voices in my head. They're yelling. I make it to the door. And I'm like, I made it. I opened the fucking door. and I see a guy walk past me, and I try to say something, but I don't have enough power to say anything. I got no voice. I got no fucking power. There's a chair, maybe, I don't know, 15 feet from the door, but it seems like forever, man. I mean, forever. It's a long way over there. And I just keep hearing this voice. Donde tu corazón? Donde? Okay, fucker. So I make it. I make it to the chair. And people are looking at me. They're like, what's this welder doing sitting over here in the paint line chair? And I want to say something, but I got no voice, man. I got no powers. So there's a water bottle sitting there, and I managed to get it, and I chuck it at this fucking guy, and I hit him. And he looks at me, and he's pissed, and he comes over there, and he's like, hey, I was like, call somebody. You got to call somebody. And they did. They did. And the voices stopped. And I knew I was going to be okay. It's going to be okay now. Maybe. So anyway, within 15 minutes, they got me in an ambulance. I'm headed to the hospital. Get to the hospital, they do their test, and they're like, oh man, this guy is dying. He's dying right now. Apparently, I had a 99% blockage in my widowmaker and a 70% blockage over here somewhere. Okay. They put me in a helicopter. Helicopter takes me to Toledo. Helicopter lands. And they wheel you in. I mean, and they're not playing. If you get Lifeflighted anywhere, they're not. It's hard. So anyway, the helicopter lands, and they wheel me in. Now, they got a team standing by, because they don't know what they're going to have to do to you. They have no idea. They get there, and, they run their tests, and they're checking you out and doing what they got to do. And let me tell you what, wear clean underwear. I don't care. You never know when you wear clean underwear. Your mom was right. Well, they wheeled me in, and they're not playing. They're not playing. They don't want to hear none of your shit. They don't really care. They got a job to do, and they're going to freaking do it, and with or without your consent. So there I am, and I'm wearing all my welding stuff, and I'm going to say faster than a NASCAR crew could change a tire. I was naked. I mean, naked that fast. They didn't unbutton my stuff or any of that. There was none. It was just bam, you're naked. And I got to tell you, I'm a modest guy, man. I don't run around showing off my genitalia. I'm not sending dick pics to people and stuff like that. I'm a modest, good Southern boy. We were born with a good dose of shame. And, but bam, there you are, a room full of people naked. I didn't know a soul in the room. I mean, I don't know if that would have helped. Probably would have made it worse. But anyway, there I am, naked. It was that fast. They just cut my clothes off. Gone. There I am. And I'm, at this point, they've given me some morphine, which, man, I don't know if you've ever had that stuff. Good Lord. If you're dying, they should give everybody a little bit of that. Because, man, I've never had it before. But, boom, they hit me with that morphine. And I was like, wow, I love everybody. And I did. Right at that moment, I loved everybody in that room, every speck of dust, every dust bunny, a little spider coming down off the wall. It didn't matter. That stuff was phenomenal. And then I could start talking again, regular, answering questions and shit. So, they're doing what they got to do. And, they got the monitors up. They got me all hooked up. I can see my heart. Boom, boom, boom. It's not beating that good. I mean, it's only getting an eyedropper full of stuff, and you need quite a bit more than that. So anyway, they've decided what they're gonna do to me, and at this point, they're not consulting me at all. They're sort of telling me shit, but you're there, man, but you ain't really there. You know what I'm saying? You're in and out. You're, like I said, you're walking a spiritual plane at this moment. I'm hearing things and I'm seeing things, but I'm not sure if I'm there, and blah blah blah. But I'm still able to make jokes, oh, and here it goes, they're gonna put this thing up my groin to get the stent up to my heart. That's how they do it. Well, I mean, I'm a male and I'm an old male, so I'm hairy, so they got to shave that hair. And, up walks, I'm laying on a gurney, and up walks a very large, muscular black man. I mean, he's muscular. This dude been going to the gym, and he got tattoos up and down his arms and shit. I'd like to see a tattoo of a teardrop here, but he did not. It would make for a better story. But anyway, this guy walks up. Now, I got to tell you, man, a lot of people, this is their biggest, darkest fear, especially white guys, some big black dude coming up to you while you're naked. They got stories. This has kept a lot of men out of prison right here, this fear. So anyway, here comes this guy, and I see him walking up, and I'm just looking at him like, man, this is hilarious. To me, it's hilarious, because in a controlled environment, this is perfect. So up walks this guy, and all of a sudden I hear, now, to me, I immediately know the sound because I shave my beard, I shave my face every day. It's the sound of a whisker burner there, and my eyes got big. I was like, hey, now here, this is where it's sort of funny. I'm gonna make it funny for you. Here, up walks this big dude, and he's got to shave my crotch area. So he walks up, and and I see what's fixing to go down. Now I got no powers. I'm powerless to stop this dude. And this is the worst part of it. He walks up, and he's got on a pair of just regular old gloves. I mean, he doesn't have any work gloves on. No heavy machinery. I mean, how's he going to move this thing? Because well, you know what it is. It was laying across the path of escarpment there. To where he had to work. So I was, I'm like, well, I don't know how he's going to get that out of the way. He does not have the proper equipment. And you know what? Much to my chagrin, he walked up, and he just went like this. He went and tapped it out of the way like it was some kind of mosquito that had landed on her. And I really couldn't say much at that moment, even though I wanted to. But I don't think the argument went really well. I mean, according to urban myth. If I would have had this argument with this fella, you see where I'm going with this. So anyway, he slaps my pesky, hugely minuscule blockage out of his way, and he hits me with the razor. I mean, he got in there quick, dude. I'm telling you, and he wasn't playing around. He was like, I'm gonna make this in one pass. And he made it work, and he got in a little deep. It kind of, I shave every day, so I was like, he got me good. And I was, I managed to get my hand down on top of his. I was like, and I stopped him. He stopped what he was doing because my hand was on top of his hand. He's holding a fucking razor there. Anyway, I looked up at him. I was like, hey man, what's your name? He goes, Bill. My name's Bill. I was like, hey Bill. I was like, you may do this all the time, but this is my first time, and I'm going to need you to be a little more gentle. And I let go of his hand. Now, you could hear everybody in the room giggle a little bit. And Bill, this guy's trying to save my life, and here I am making jokes there. I'm sure he's thinking, look here, buddy, I am trying to save you. Would you? Anyway, so he finishes doing what he's doing. Up rolls this Indian dude, and we're at eye level, and I'm looking at him, and I was like, it's about time you got here. I think I'm going to die. He goes, you ain't going to die. We're going to make sure that don't happen. And I said, well, I appreciate it, but, if you don't mind stepping on the gas here, I believe you, when I'm up out of here. And he's like, okay, I'm going to take care of you. So he's smiling, and everybody's kind of relaxed a little bit, which is what I want, shit, man. You're fixing to try and say, well, anyway, you can see all the monitors and everything, and they got my heart there, and you can see the vein that's supposed to be, giving me the stuff that keeps me from not dying. It looks like a flat old piece of linguine, and white, real white looking. And I was like, oh, and they're trying to explain to me, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. So, I'm watching this. So, they got 3 big monitors because the dude right here, he needs to see what he's doing. So he ain't looking at, he's feeding this thing up my crotch, and he's looking at the monitor, and I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at the monitor, and I'm just kind of watching at this point. And, they finally get it up to the area where it needs to be, and he puts it in there and they got to do like a twist, it's like a corkscrew or some shit that goes in there. Anyway, they corkscrew that sucker up in there, and bam, I mean, immediately that little flat piece of linguine filled out, got darker colored and got bigger. I mean, like 3 times bigger. And I'm telling you, that fast, I was like, oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, no, I feel better now. Hey, you guys do good work, and now I'm really talking shit. I was like, hey, man, I was skeptical at first whether, I was skeptical of whether you were good at your job, but now, I'm gonna give you a recommendation on Angie's List. And I got to now. I mean, I feel so much better at this point, because it was. I guess I was only getting like a 99.9%. I was getting an eyedropper full, and they were just amazed that I was still breathing, because that ain't really enough to run an engine. Everybody that's had a car, if you're only getting an eyedropper full of gas, it's sputting and fitting to die. All right, well, that was one hell of a day, and that's another reason, where reason I'm going and doing what I'm doing, because tomorrow's not promised, and that was, that was a really, and I don't even know, like a bitch slap. Hey man, if you're gonna do something, you need to be getting after it now, because I could have died that morning, 100%. Could have, it was destined. If it wasn't for modern medicine, boom, I would have been a dead man. That's just that's just the way it was. And I've gotten the ability, that was 3 years ago, and I've taken care of myself. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I rarely process foods. Pizza. I like pizza, and milkshakes. I like milkshake, but I make them at home, man. But anyway, like, subscribe, notify. Most of y'all probably didn't even make it to the end of this, but it's okay. I don't mind. It was sort of something I need to get off my chest. I was thinking about how I was going to tell you about this story this morning, man, and man, just even thinking about how I was going to tell what had me breaking up. So I'm glad I got it out there. Now I don't have to tell a story. I'll just, point at the video. Y'all can just go watch it. All right. I will see you guys again, probably a couple more times before I hit the fills. And then from then on out, it's going to be joy and jubilation as I dance and monkey around the Philippines. All right. Peace.